So thanks for doing this. And let's just start off with name, organization, and your role.
Yeah, hey, I'm Steve Camilleri with the Center for the Homeless in South Bend, Indiana, and I'm the executive director.
What is your organization's mission?
Yeah, our center hopes to help people break the cycle of homelessness. As simple as that, but yet it's really complex to do.
During the pandemic, I know we're sort of still in the middle of it and figuring things out, but what has been the biggest challenge for your organization and for you in your position during the pandemic?
Yeah, so I'm sure many, if not all organizations would say when handed a pandemic for us just about a year ago, one of the challenges across the board would just be the uncertainty. We tend to be a pretty responsive and reactionary agency versus a proactive, as much as we all want to be proactive, let's face it. But when you're handed a pandemic, you really, really are reactive. Oftentimes day to day, with 200 people living under your roof, 50 staff people, trying to keep everybody safe, healthy, and also aware of all the changes. It really presents a great challenge, but safety is always our number one priority, and never more than ever over this past year.
As you guys have been managing that and navigating that, what's the biggest point of focus for you guys? I guess both from the operational standpoint of, the safety of your residents and all of that, but also as well, just keeping the lights on, so to speak. And, I know that like for a lot of people, fundraising might have taken a dip or grant funding might have shifted or changed because you can't use it the same way. Talk a little bit about that and what you've been focusing on, you and your team have been focusing on.
So, as you know, safety and the health of all the guests and staff is, it's always a top priority. But if you do not have an organization, if it's not sustainable, if you can't keep the doors open, then there's no one to do that for. So in ways like never before, we had to respond to the fundraising challenges. We usually do 3 in-person events, and we weren't able to do any in 2020. So you move a lot of what you do to virtual. And you just have to continue to be in the minds and hearts of those people who support you. And you got to continue to tell the story of your mission. And so that's something that we've really focused on and worked really hard to do. And we've tried to keep our partners and supporters abreast of how we're doing. When people test positive, we were letting them know. We just got the vaccine today. We let our supporters know that, help is on the way and that we're hopefully going to be able to get back to some semblance of normalcy soon. We also want to start welcoming volunteers as soon as we can. And so that will be one of the things that's coming real soon for us.
What are some of the biggest unanswered questions that you and the center are facing right now in light of the pandemic? And, what's kind of the stuff you're either waiting for, or you're like, geez, if we just knew this,
Yeah. This is always an interesting time for us. Spring is around the corner, and you've had a lot of people living together. It's tough enough with our own nucleus family that we want to get outside, and, we wait for spring, but now you have 200 people. So spring is interesting, and oftentimes people move out, they might have a tax refund. And so in the midst of that, we have a global pandemic, and we're trying to get everyone vaccinated and educate them on that. And if not vaccinated, to get them tested, because we still, in order to stay at the center, you still have to get tested to come in, and you have to have a negative test. And so the pandemic is still here. And even though there might be some loosening in some states and in some guidelines, we're still as vigilant as we were day one, whether it's masks, whether it's sanitizer, social distancing, and all of those protocols are still in place. And so for us, it's just a matter of when will we be able to do in-person events, because that's going to hit our budget tremendously. When will we be able to welcome volunteers back, because that hits our programming in a big way. And there's still a lot of unknowns for us as we move forward. And then there's some good news. It looks like there's going to be some stimulus opportunities for some of the guests and staff. And I think that's going to help people with some things that they need to make a deposit on an apartment. And because a lot of our guests have been in a holding pattern. and they're waiting. And there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, but we don't want to jump too soon.
With that, are there any other questions, that you would sort of put to the, the greater world right now, questions you would put out to the other organizations or other folks, like, man, if I could get a poll or a temperature reading on this thing, like, I'd just love to know.
Yeah, of course, we would love to know, when would 600 people want to come to our dancing event? When would 450 people want to come to our lip sync event?
Yeah.
When would 800 people come to our holiday luncheon? That would, if we had the crystal ball for that, that would be really helpful. And I mean, that's the biggest thing I've been thinking of. We want to welcome people back and embrace them. Well, maybe not yet embrace them, but
yeah.
to really welcome them and invite them to be back part of our mission. We want to get them back in the center. We want to start doing tours again. We want to start seeing the hundreds and hundreds of volunteers that we see every month. And so we figure at this point, we've waited a year. We can wait a little bit longer. We just pray and hope that it's not another year. Hopefully it's just months, not years, but we're going to do whatever we need to do to ensure the safety of everybody who does walk through the door, be it guest, be it staff, be it volunteer, friend, partner. We're not going to, we're not going to take anything lightly just because we got a vaccine. Like, that's huge, but there's still many things we still need to do. So, and other than that, we hope that people will continue to support us. I mean, they really were here for us during the past year, but we have the same need every day of every year. Yeah. And we hope that really continues in the real robust way we saw in 2020.
What, during the pandemic, and I know we're still in the middle of it, and there's still a lot of unknowns, but what is your best tip for making the world a little bit brighter, for your team and those your organization serves? And do you have any fun stories or tips that would be helpful to others?
During this time, we've tried to continue to do as many things as we can to keep normal. We still did our Random Acts of Kindness week in February. It's something you still got to do. We still found small ways to celebrate the holidays, whether it was Halloween or Christmas. You got to still find the ways to do it. Every month we do a game, I would say game night, but game day with staff, and whether it's categories or Jeopardy, just to still feel connected, to still have a little bit of fun. And when I've said to our staff, it's really, really, really important self-care. And so for those who can work from home, and during that time, take your dog for a walk during that time, go for a bike ride, just get out in nature. And that's something that sometimes becomes difficult to do in the workplace, even though we still encourage that, but really telling people, like, be there for your loved ones, and the loved ones include yourself. So continue to take care of yourself. And when things do get better, let's still learn from the good things that we took from this. Zoom is an efficient tool. It's really helped us with a lot of interviews, with a lot of meetings. And there's some things we can still do that with, which I think makes us a better, more effective and efficient organization. And there are other times we just want to be together. We just need to be together. But take the good things and the good lessons you learned. And if you found that your spirits were up when you went for a walk in the middle of the day, you can do that when you're at the office. Just leave. If you used to do it at 10 a.m., leave at 10 a.m. and go and do it. Leave at 3 p.m. and go and do it and come back. So I hope those things really are takeaways that stay.
If people want to get in touch with the center to donate or to help, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah. Please, check out our website, cfh.net. That's probably the easiest, most direct way. And if there's any staff member on that list, we have a staff page. You can click on them and send one of us an email. Let us know what you're thinking about. If you want to learn more about our mission and meet our guest, we'd love you to do that.
Awesome. Excellent.